Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Talkoma FD.
Talkoma FD.
Yeah, what's up?
Hi, Kev.
Hi, this is 11.
This
The
is
11th episode
it
of
is
this.
the 11th episode.
God, it feels like, we've been doing this for
And
a long
I'm going to
time.
turn over a new leaf for the 11th time.
What's that? What's your new leaf?
I was recently watching Andrew Santino
Yeah.
on his podcast, The
Yeah.
Whiskey Ginger, of which we have been guests.
Yes.
And I decided I liked his demeanor so much, his ray of sunshine personality, that I wanted to emulate that. And I'm not going to bicker with you
What's
ever.
his demeanor? You're talking about like he's just a
lovely,
nice fella.
I would like to be known as a nice person.
Sure. Okay.
Like, I want people to watch me and be like, he seems like a nice, salt of the earth guy.
I think people think that anyway.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they don't know you, so.
Now, why?
But,
See, this is what happens. This is what happens, Kev. Like,
What?
This is the first test. See,
It is the first test.
This is the first test.
Weather that storm.
I'm going to weather it and just
weather that storm.
You're going to be like, come on, Kevin. Come on. Stop
See?
it.
Just-
That's it.
Now you should turn the. Now hit me on this one.
Now get me again, Kev. That was
hit me on this
That was a
one.
good zinger. That was actually a really good joke.
Thanks, man.
You're like, because they don't know you, because they don't know you're a
Sure.
dick, is what you're trying to say.
Sure. That's the positive way. Hey, that's a really good joke, man.
Yeah, that is a great joke.
That's a good joke.
No wonder you are a great comedy writer.
Well, I'll tell you what. This episode is all about you.
Yeah.
So
Like they all should be.
That's good. We like it. So it's Penisi-ful Life, directed by me,
Yeah.
written by Paul Soder,
Yes.
who we will visit with
Yeah.
shortly. He's going to join us on the show. Ooh. We had this idea to do this. Is there anything you want to talk about before I start talking about where the idea for the episode came
No, I
from?
already did it.
Anything in your life that you want to talk about? Or?
Just that I watched Andrew Santino on the Whiskey Ginger podcast, and I'm going to be a ray of sunshine from now on. I'm salt of the
Okay.
earth. I have already. Hey, I love your clammy hand. I have already passed the first test.
Yeah, what's that?
Which is you sassing me, like picking a fight right off the bat.
Okay. Oh! I saw for a second. I saw for a second there.
It flashed. But
Those little red eyes I saw for a second.
I know,
yeah.
it's like I'm a Sith.
I know.
Like the Sith revealed himself. But
Fight
no,
it, man. Fight it.
I already fought it.
It's just a question of like how much should I push it now? You know what I mean? Like how far should I go in terms of like trying to draw the devil out of you?
Push it. You can push it.
I don't want to.
Push it real good. Bum, 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 bum.
All right. Okay.
That's,
No, I love it.
whatever, bro.
But it doesn't matter. This is about this episode about finding your dreams and your hopes and your right.
Well,
it's a Penisi-ful life.
It's kind of like this moment that we're having right
Yeah.
now. It's Eddie Penisi finding out what life would have been
Right,
like
what's
had
important.
he not been born.
right.
And yes, coming to the realization of what is important, but
Yeah.
that we put a little twist on it.
Yes. Well, what we wanted to do, It's a Wonderful Life. We wanted to do, it's got Wizard of Oz, it's got Christmas Carol, it's got a bunch of different elements to it, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea was to do this kind of more fantastical episode about Eddie Penisi learning about himself. But the spin is that unlike those other things, where he finds out that, people are worse off if he doesn't participate in their lives, Eddie finds out that everyone is very much better off
Yeah.
when he's not around.
I thought you were supposed to show me that their lives were worse without me, not better.
He has a negative impact on everyone's life, including the angel who is sent to save him
correct.
at the end.
But the beauty of it is, he doesn't care.
Eddie doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
Like Coach Deion Sanders,
end.
he doesn't care what you think of
That's
him.
right. In the end,
In the end, Eddie is just Eddie.
he's just Eddie.
And he realizes, even though he knows, that Lawrence the angel has descended into the depths of hell, he's like, whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And walks away.
Well, who cares?
That's Eddie.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Would you think that there were any like deep issues that you're working out as Steve Lemme when we're shooting this episode? I mean, this is a really soul searching episode. A guy like you coming off COVID.
Nah. No. What I
Yes, and bro.
No, well, I'll tell you, I will yes and you, but here's the thing. I was fortunate in that my COVID was very, very mild.
Right.
I was vaccinated. I honestly, like right now, I have a head cold that I believe was worse than my
Okay.
particular case of COVID.
Okay.
And that was my first time
Yeah.
with it. Now, I know that, the only sort of like morality issue or mortality issue, like the only issue I was dealing with was the fact that I had thrown in our block, because I contracted it in our block
Yeah.
off.
Right.
I had thrown a party, a July 4th party.
Right.
Which you were a guest at.
I was there.
And this is 2 years ago.
Many members of the cast and crew were there.
Yeah, this is 2022. And
Yeah.
some of our producers were there, executive producers were there, and I got COVID.
Right.
So the speculation may have been that I got it at that party.
But I thought we ruled that out just in the timing of it.
The doctor has ruled it out.
Yeah, right.
Because I got COVID the very next day.
Yeah, too soon.
Yeah, that was a July 5th thing. I got COVID, and so if anything, I was feeling some guilt, even though I had a feeling I didn't catch it at my party, and it was confirmed.
Yeah.
The speculation that others were feeling towards me that I might have shut down production.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah, you're feeling a little guilty.
But a little bit. But the nice thing was we actually only lost a day because thanks to some quick thinking by you on the day, because you are a schedule and budget master.
Thank you.
You decided, okay, you know what? I, Kevin Heffernan, I'm going to step in and direct the episode that you did a whole juggle, and it turned out that we only missed 1 day of filming.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost some money
Oh, yeah.
to make up for it, but we could have lost more.
Sure.
But we wound up switching episodes to direct, and we, switched some things around on the schedule, and ultimately we lost just 1 day of
worked it out.
filming. It got worked out.
But it was important to work it out because this episode's all about you. So we had to
Correct.
make sure we had you.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you go, and what happens is you get a superstar guest star, and you book them for certain dates, and you can't fuck with those dates.
No.
And so this idea always required finding this guardian angel character,
Correct.
much like It's a Wonderful Life. Mm-hmm. And we were lucky enough to get Tony Danza to play your guardian angel.
Yes. And so what we wanted, when we were writing the script, we had determined that we wanted was an angel that I would look up to.
Right. That was similar to you.
Yeah, same food group, but
Right.
angelic.
Right.
And what we heard a guffaw from over
That's
there
good. I love it.
in the booth.
I love that.
And our first choice was a young actor by the name of Anthony Danza,
That's right.
Tony Danza. And to our surprise,
Yeah.
we got him.
Shocking. It's always shocking when you can get. I mean, we grew up watching Taxi, and he was a guy that's always been. I mean, you look at his career; it's amazing. He's done it all. He's on TV and movies. He had his own talk show. He was a song and dance guy. He had stage shows. Like he's done it all. And then to think that you would get him come be on our show, it's really kind of shocking. But the reality is, he actually has the same agent as Joey Pants.
Right.
Right, and so we just begged that guy, and
It's the agent that represents Italian actors.
I guess so, in New York.
Yeah.
And so we made this offer to him, and he came and he did it.
Yeah.
And it was stunning to us.
Well, it was funny too because we have a long history with Tony Danza, not just like growing up with. I mean, look,
Right.
I don't want to sound like an old guy, but like
Sure.
when we were kids, there were only 3 networks on television.
What?
You can't talk about the past without sounding old.
Sure.
But that's just the case. And here's another one. You want to hear another thing was old? When we came out of college, the internet didn't exist.
There was no internet. There was no cell phones. No cell phones.
No cell phones.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you sound old, but yes.
Right,
that's
but there
the
were only case. three networks on television: It was
Right.
ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Yeah.
And Tony Danza was on the #1 show.
Yeah.
So there were not that many shows. So like this was rarefied
Taxi.
air. Taxi was the show.
yeah.
It was an excellent show.
Wonderful show.
And he was he was a newcomer to Hollywood, and
Yeah.
he was a standout. And we loved this guy. Like when we were little kids watching this guy, we loved that guy. Tony
Loved him.
Banta was the name of
Yeah.
that character. And then he was on Who's the Boss?
Right.
For a bunch
Forever.
of years.
Yeah.
It was like that was another #1 show. We were like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And then he was in like Cannonball Run. He was in all these movies. And anyway,
But you had a personal
Yeah.
connection to him that was related to Broken Lizard,
right.
right? Which made this all the better.
Yeah. So we had, I think we had just finished filming Club Dread, and we had signed with a new agency at the time, UTA.
UTA,
And-
the United Talent Agency.
Yeah, you are still with them. I'm no longer.
Correct, yeah.
But then in New York, I was there in my apartment on West 86th Street, And I got a manila envelope in the mail.
Yeah.
And I opened it up, and it was an autographed headshot, Tony Danza headshot, and it said, Steve, big fan of your work. I just signed with UTA too. We should work together sometime. Best, Tony Danza. And
One of your heroes.
I was like,
It pays to go to his agency.
and I was like, okay, something's rotten here. I smell a rat. Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't just
Yeah.
happen. Immediately, I'm like, okay, it's Broken Lizard. Somebody in Broken Lizard. And so, first two calls are to you and Chandra Sekar, like the bigger dicks in the group.
Sure.
And, like,
never.
probably called you first and was
Yeah.
like, I actually probably called Jay first. It was like,
Yeah.
because he's the biggest dick in the group. and was like, I just got something in the mail today. Do you know anything about it? And he's like, no. How would I? Like, what did you get? And I was like, I got an autographed Tony Danza headshot. Very funny. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you telling me you didn't send me this Tony Danza headshot? And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What is it? And I told him.
Yeah.
And he was like, holy shit, that's amazing. I had the same, and no, it's not me.
Right.
I wish it was. Then same conversation with you, then Stolhansky, then Soder. Everybody denied it. And I actually was like, holy shit, this is a real thing.
Sure.
I started telling people about it.
Yep.
I got a frame for it. And I didn't frame anything.
Framed it.
Back then.
Yeah.
And I put it up right in the front hall, like in that
Right when you walk in your front door, it's sitting right there.
first thing you see right there is
in
an
your New York City apartment.
autographed Tony Danza headshot. You have to ask about it.
Right.
Well, hello.
Do you know Tony Danza?
Is this real?
Yeah.
Is he a fan of yours? Yeah. Apparently he's a fan of mine.
Yeah.
Apparently. And, bragged about it with, like, girls are like, look at Tony Danza headshot.
Yeah.
And eventually, I don't know what triggered it, but, probably like 2 years later,
Yeah.
Jay Chandra Sekar came clean and said he admitted that he was the one who hoaxed me.
Got his hands on some
Headshot,
Tony Danza glamour shot.
Yeah.
Signed it.
sent it to
Boom.
me. Knew I was gullible enough
Yeah.
to believe
You took it hook, line, and sinker.
Hook, line, and sphincter.
The hook, line, and sphincter.
I went for the Tony Danza, and it was.
But whatever.
humiliating.
Then it became. It changed, but it was now the butt of the joke thing, and you kept the picture up, and it was still fun. It's a great story. It's
Yeah.
a funny story about a prank a friend played on you.
Yeah.
But it connected you forever to Tony Danza. Mm-hmm. And so when we got Tony on the show, I think it was at that first day or whatever, there was a picture of you guys, and we sent it to the Broken Lizard guys, and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it was like the cherry on the top of this, Tony Danza story, which I think was fantastic.
It was like I wonder if there's an emotion that we haven't invented yet. It was jealousy and excitement. Is there such a word for that?
Yeah. Just-citement.
Just excellency. But I think that's what they even said as much, like, this is unbelievable,
Yeah.
but also we're jealous.
Yeah.
And I took a picture with him. I was starstruck.
Yeah.
When Tony Danza showed up. Like it's like there's a moment, in this industry when you're going to meet a famous actor who you
Yeah.
admire
For years.
and you have to
But you hope they're not,
well you
hope
hope
they're good guys.
you hope they're good guys and you hope you don't dork out too badly.
Right. But you did. You dorked down.
I totally dorked
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, as I will do. I dorked out with Patrick Swayze, and
Sure.
I dorked out with Tony Danza. But I said I'm starstruck. Could we take a picture together? And this was within like 20 minutes of meeting him, and I think he might have been off put by that.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think
must
he-
get it all the time, though.
I
Come
think I think that's the thing. It's like, and sometimes you go on a
But
set.
we're working together.
We're working together. I think you go on a set and you're like, I don't have to deal with that.
Sure.
But but I was dorking out.
Well, the nice thing was that the guy was delightful, and he has so many great stories. And we have footage of him, put it up, but he would walk around playing his ukulele. He came into the makeup trailer, and he would sing songs to people, and not in an uncomfortable way or anything, but it was just a pleasure. It was like, look at this guy. I mean, he's really kind of this kind of guy, Renaissance man kind of guy. He had all kinds of talents, and he was gregarious and happy to be on the set, and it made it delightful because sometimes people show up on the thing and they're not what you hoped.
Correct.
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm weak, maybe I'm strong, but nevertheless, I'm in love with you.
And he was a guy that was fantastic, and so he told stories, and we'll get him on our podcast at some point soon. But
I followed him around like a
You did like
puppy
a dog.
Yeah, it was nice because I wasn't directing.
Yeah.
That's always the thing. Is like when you direct, you don't have any free time.
Yeah.
You are directing and you're done with one shot, you're on to the next shot. When you're just acting in the episode, you can, be somebody's bitch. And I sat with him and would listen. I asked him questions.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like, what's the coolest thing you've ever done in Hollywood? And like, who's the coolest person you've ever worked with? I don't want to tell his stories.
No, we'll get him
We'll get him on here to tell these stories. But it was so surreal. It's one of those, we've had these surreal moments.
Yeah.
Whether it's, working with Cloris Leachman.
Yeah.
Or Michael Clark Duncan or Bill Paxton. Or now, here we are with Tony Danza. We were like, holy fucking shit. This is Tony Danza. And we've got him on Tacoma FD.
Yeah. And, I think he had a good time, too. I mean, he did a great job in the role. He really wanted to do Heaven Can Wait. He was a huge fan of Here Comes Mr. Jordan, which was the precursor to Heaven Can Wait. And he really wanted to play that character.
Yeah.
And so he was like, he wanted to talk like him and walk like him and present himself because he was a huge fan of that movie. And this gave him the opportunity to do that. And I think he had a blast doing it. And we did, his wardrobe was fantastic, thanks to Kelly Kwan. All that green screen stuff he loved. It was the falling into hell and the going to the waterfalls, which is fucking great, and whooshing through the walls and all that stuff. I think he really had a good time doing that stuff. So it's good when he can come and have fun, and we have fun. And
well, so here's my counter to that.
Yeah.
Here's my counter to that. This is one of my favorite things. Like, it's kind of like when we worked with Brian Cox on Super Troopers, where you realize this is a classically trained actor, and here we are, a bunch of college friends who are like, blah, 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 blah. And that was like, I think that, Mr. Danza is accustomed to like professional actors.
Well, maybe, but it's not like he's not like Tony Danza's not a Shakespeare guy.
No, he's not a Shakespeare guy.
He's a TV guy, right?
But he showed up and he knew his lines, every single line.
Hit his mark, knew his line.
Perfectly. Yeah. He was the only one though. Because the rest of us are like, because we're used to like kind of working it out on the day. And like, I mean, look, we know our lines, but it's like we start improvising and we know it's kind of loose.
Yeah.
And I thought that I thought that was an adjustment for Tony to see, like, because he knew all his lines and he would sit there and wait. And one of us would be like, oh, is my line?
Yeah.
A Lambo?
Tony's getting irritated now.
But you knew your lines. I mean, I think you're selling yourself short there.
Oh, I know. I knew my lines.
You did all right.
I knew
you're
my
fine,
lines.
Yeah. And it's 90% Lemmy. That's this episode. It's 90% Lemmy, 5% Tony Danza, and then the rest of us.
God, that's got to be a good name for a movie right there. 90% Lemmy.
90% Lemmy.
The way I like it.
And I think it came out great.
I had a great time with him, and we had a lot of laughs there. I got to know him. We had a lot of fun. We had behind the scenes. We had a lot of guest actors.
Yep.
We had a lot of people playing multiple roles. Mm-hmm. Hassie got to play Lucy and Lukey and a she-wolf.
Yes. Yeah.
And
that was another very fun element of it, was Hassie doing the multiple characters.
Yeah.
The problem was it was kind of like a flashback thing, though, because for some reason we do this all the time to ourselves, is we have these people playing multiple characters in the same show, and you forget that, it requires a lot more time and work to do that, because people don't realize it. Like, you're sitting in the writer's room and it's like, why don't we have someone play two characters and whatever? And you're like, because you have to shoot it twice, and you're always fighting the time anyway. And to be able to have to shoot a scene, like, you have to shoot the whole scene with the person as one character, all the angles. Then you have to change them over, and you have to shoot the scene again.
Hey Mom, hey Dad. Somebody howl for the she-wolf. Oh, woo!
Nice.
Vicky and Wolf have...
Hey Mom, hey Dad. Someone cry for the she-wolf.
Vicky and Wolf made a loose...
And we learned that on Quasi. Quasi was a nightmare for that, where Quasi was like, we had multiple people playing multiple parts, and we had me on stage against myself.
Well, that's the additional challenge, is when you're putting those people with character changes in the same scene.
Right.
And we learned that on Slam and Salmon, where you're split screening an identical twin.
But we had just come off Quasi,
So you were well oiled by that
Well,
time.
no, I was like, why do you do this to yourself? You know what I mean? Because from that shooting that scene where Hassie's playing those two characters in the same scene together, the office scene, that takes a full day because you have to do the whole scene twice, everything twice.
Hey, by the way, we're doing that. And you've got these two Italian guys whooshing through walls. So we have to do the whooshes, and sometimes you've got a green screen in there as well.
Sure.
So, but the end result is
Well, but for the actor, I think I think Hassie had a great time. Like she, to dress her up as Lukey, and she got the mustache, and I think she really leaned into having a good time playing a man.
Man.
It was funny.
Anytime I think that an actor puts on a wig or puts on some facial hair or changes their gender or does anything completely off the wall or changes their persona.
Yeah.
It's like in this episode also we've got Heather Mazer playing Vicky, but now she's
With Wolf.
unlocked with Wolf.
Right.
And we've also got Wolf who's not playing his typical Wolf. He's playing cool Wolf.
Right.
And anytime characters get to do that with like an accoutrement, they really love it. They dig into it.
Yeah.
And they enjoy
Well,
themselves.
but also for her, I think, which was great, and we talk about that, the firefighter world is a very male environment, and the cast is relatively male.
Yeah.
And I think Hassie, this was a chance for her to make fun of us.
Yeah.
And it was like the way she sat and the way she talked and the way she itched her, whatever it was, you know what I mean?
yeah.
There are funny elements that she put in there. I think she had a good time
Oh yeah.
cutting loose with that stuff.
No, she loved
Making fun of men is what she did.
First of all, she got to dick tap people.
Yeah.
And she got to do the think quick with the football. She got to tug on her crotch and scratch her nuts.
Great.
She got to speak a low voice and be a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loved it.
It was great.
Another thing that I think was fun about this episode, and I don't know, maybe it was because of the dump of the end of the season, but like we were able to put into this episode a bevy of things that we had personal problems with. Like what happens is you spend all your time in the writer's room, and you might bitch about this or that and the other thing, and then the writers, they key into that, and they're like, hey, this would be a great thing for your character. And there's a shitload of those in this episode. And one of them that motivates you from the opening scene was this flavored water, this flavored seltzer water hatred that you have.
You people never listen to me. Those drinks are a scam. You only drink them because they're trendy.
And that hatred started like probably season 2 in the writer's room.
Definitely season 2.
Where that was kind of all the rage, and there was all those different kinds of flavored seltzer water and the Spindrift and the LaCroix and all those things. And you particularly disliked that stuff and were particularly vocal about it to the point where it was kind of all filed away, because the writers, they love their Spindrift and they love their LaCroix. And you were against that. And by the time we got to this episode, it was like, boom, it's all going into the episode.
Look, I'm not a club soda. I'm not a seltzer guy.
Yeah.
Like I think it tastes different. It doesn't taste
Right.
like water.
Okay. It's supposed to be a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I'm just talking about seltzer.
It's got bubbles.
It's got bubbles, and it's like, and that like all of a sudden it's like burning your throat a little bit. It's a little hot.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
and it's like I like that in my soda or my beer because there's a taste
Sure.
involved. Okay, so now they're making a soda.
Right.
Okay, or a soda light thing, and
Yeah.
it's like, like I get that. You go to a restaurant, you have cucumber water. Hey, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. You put lime in your club soda. It's a little nice. It's refreshing and everything. But now all of a sudden, okay, LaCroix. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, can I get a LaCroix?
Yeah, that was the writer's room. It was like the refrigerator was stocked with LaCroix or Spindrift or whatever, the cucumber flavored, and try this flavor. There was a lot of that going on with the writers.
Well,
and it put you off a little bit.
Okay, and so it's just backing it up a little bit, and so like LaCroix, and I'm not like people love LaCroix. Go with God, LaCroix. Go with God. But like Pamplemousse as a fucking flavor, are you fucking kidding me? Pamplemousse is your flavor? Okay. And people are like, no, Pamplemousse is great. Yeah, like Michael Jami's like, no, Pamplemousse is like the best flavor in the world. And people are like, and then okay, so Spindrift comes, and then like there's a bunch of these other it's season 2 was when they were exploding.
They were exploding.
And they had the dumbest names. Like,
Well, that's the joke that we did, right? Where it was like, once we put it in, we were like, let's make fun of this.
I tried this fizzle fruit guava jalapeno, my friend.
And the Le Plus Pamplemousse is always a solid choice.
But there's barely any flavor.
Exactly.
Why would you drink something with hardly any flavor?
I don't know, because it's good. Just a whiff.
But like a few of them didn't clear because they were actually like we had something called hint,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh no, that's a real product. You're
With a
like,
hint of flavor?
Of course it
Yeah.
is. Of course it's a real product.
But it started out with Le Pleu in season 1 or 2.
Right.
Because we were making fun of LaCroix.
Yeah, Le Pleu.
And then the rest of the ones that we did, well, Fizzle Fruit is in this episode too.
Right.
And that was just a silly one. But then we did Barely, Whiff, Smidge, and Mention.
Yeah.
Were the different ones that just had a smidge of flavor, a mention of flavor.
Well, because it's also like there's a cultish thing about this.
Yeah.
It's like it becomes a fad. Like all of a sudden, all of our writers, every time somebody goes to the fridge, they're like, bring me a skin drift. Bring me a hint. Can I get a grape? And then they're all like, try this one. Because they know I hate them. So they're like, come on, this one's actually really good. And by the way, we had people sending them to because one of our writers started putting it on social media.
Right.
Like, oh, hey, I really like this. And now the company.
So the company said like Waterloo or whoever was sending us, the flavored seltzer water, which
and by the
drove
way,
you bananas.
they're getting advertising here for free.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
look, I'm back. And I want to be a Rave Sunshine.
Well, that's good. But you were that guy, and so it got written in that was the genesis of you banging your head was that you hated these drinks so much, Eddie Penisi,
Yes.
that it caused him injury.
Right.
And it caused him to go on this journey.
Right.
And when you come back out of it, it's the thing that sets you off. And so that was a real life thing. And, one of the funny parts is when you decide you're going to create your own.
Yeah.
And you drink the water and you fart into the glass.
There you go. Panisi fruit. Grapeux.
You're gross.
I'm not sure it works.
When we do these things, we like to craft these farts, and this fart crafting in the sound room was significant. We put like a standard issue fart in there, and then you wanted to have the fart have a little question mark on the end.
I like it to go up at the end.
Like a weep.
Little inquisitive fart.
And so the sound guys put together like 3 different farts and layered them on top of each other, and made it kind of like question mark at the end.
Yeah.
And I always find those moments to be fantastic. I mean, they happen in Brooklyn Lizard a lot, where you are in a room with technicians, a room full of technicians.
Yeah.
Whose job is to bring your vision to life. And that vision is, I want a fart that goes extra long and has a question mark on the end. And then there are these professionals that make that happen for you.
It's funny because you say Broken Lizard. I find it in Tacoma FD.
Also, yes.
You and I have sat there because, it's like in season 1 in episode 107 when you're sick off of you've been using the mayonnaise as moisturizing cream.
Right.
And now you're ill. Like you had one at the end of that episode in the hospital bed.
I should rest.
A fart, yeah.
Yeah,
That
a
we
fart
crafted.
that
Yeah.
we crafted, and we've crafted, and they have to be. We have specific tastes.
Right.
But yeah, this one was, I think, maybe the most.
There's one in Quasi. I remember it's the same sound guys
Yeah.
of the Pope farting as he runs down the aisle.
Right. Because
And we crafted that and went back through various iterations.
Holy shit, I have to take a holy shit.
Super Troopers 2, the fart through the heat vision, where Favre is pissing and he farts while he's pissing.
It's like a walking hydrothermal explosion.
That went through like 25 wonderful giant chain emails with studio people on it and people looking at this, the color's not right or the fart sound's not big enough, and there's these people like weighing in because their job depends on it.
But these are all, now think about this. I know people say we're juvenile, but this is real life here. And here's the thing. Think about the 4 farts we've described.
Yes.
The first one,
Yeah.
episode 107. You're sick.
Yeah.
It's a sick fart.
It is a sick fart.
It has to be a sick, gassy
It's heavy.
fart.
Yeah.
Could
Yeah, it's heavy.
be a shart. Like it's
Yes,
it's sick.
yes.
And
There's something wrong in there.
and that's something that needs to be conveyed.
Yes.
The quasi fart.
Yeah.
That's a fart of a man who's running, who desperately needs to go
Take a holy shit.
take a holy shit.
Holy shit, I gotta take a holy
He's
shit.
running, and it's a race to the toilet, and he's farting. He can't He doesn't
Yeah.
want to fart because
Yeah.
he doesn't know if he's going to let it go. But that's
And the echo of a church, the gigantic expanse of a church,
Yeah.
changes the sound of
Okay,
it.
that's a type of fart that we all know.
Yes, yeah.
That we all know.
Right.
The third
The fart in church, yeah.
Farva's fart. Super Troopers 2. That's Farva taking a piss and ripping farts, and he's already eaten a bunch of free desserts
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
from the diner.
Yeah.
And he's, he ate some free desserts.
Yeah.
And he's blasting farts.
Yeah, and pissing.
Yeah, and these have to be sloppy Farva farts while he's, but like just he didn't think anybody's paying attention. Like,
With a visual element to it.
correct.
Right.
The heat sensor.
Yeah.
But that's, I'm just saying that let's take the visual element out of it. It's like
Yeah.
that's a certain type of man with a certain amount of food in his body. That's a
Yes.
certain, and relieving himself.
Right.
And this one
Yeah.
is Eddie Penisi
Yeah.
trying to make a point. Mm-hmm. It's a nice clean. He's eating a grape.
Yeah.
We
He
don't
just worked out.
We don't need to go for a shock joke
Slightly
here.
sweaty.
We
His
don't-
ass is slightly sweaty.
Slightly. But we don't need to go. We don't need to go for shock jokes here. I know it's a fart joke, but we don't need to make it a sloppy one.
Okay, but it is long and excessive,
But there's a question mark at the end,
and I love it.
and it's a nice clean ending. It's boop. That's his point.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right.
Here it is, and here's the drink. And the funny thing is, we actually have multiple endings for this. It's the cold open
Yeah.
of the episode, where first they make Mickleberry,
Kid drink it. Yeah.
and then we were like, well, somebody else has to drink it, and we had it where then
Ike drank it.
and then we had the version where then Granny's like,
Yeah,
and he
there's
takes
more footage
and
of
he
it, yeah.
likes it, and then and then Lucy did
Maybe she drank it too. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody drank it. It just went on a little too long.
it a little too long, kind of like this
Discussion.
fart conversation.
One of the other things we talked about was your, which we make fun of, is your love for soccer. We do that very briefly at the beginning of that episode of you excited about what is it, the Italian league or something? Is that what you're taping it on the thing or whatever it is?
AC Milan is currently #1 in Calcio A, but Sassuolo, Juventus, Atalanta, and Udinese are currently in contention.
Are those cars or?
They're soccer teams, bro.
See, like even right here, and look, I'm going to remain a ray of sunshine. I'm being tested once again, but I won't fall for the temptation because that's the devil. So, Kevin, the disdain in your voice, how you just described my love of soccer, you're like, you won't even give it the proper respect. Like, what is it, the Italian league or something like that? What, like your back is basically turned
That's
towards
what
you. Like you're
Gabe
so
says. The thing. Was it like, or the cars? Is that a car?
yeah, and
They're soccer teams.
well, but by the way, we also trimmed up the list because we did a number of different Eddie Penisi listing off the different
Yes.
soccer teams, and we did one take that was like,
I think you might say it.
AC Milan is currently #1 in Calcio A, but Sassuolo and Juventus, Atalanta, Cagliari, Lazio, Sampdoria. But Sassuolo, Juventus, Atalanta, Cagliari, Lazio, Roma, Napoli, and Udinese are all in contention. Oh, and I forgot about Sampdoria.
but that's a conversation you and I have had
Yes.
so many times. I grew up playing soccer, watching soccer. My father's from Argentina. My children play soccer now.
Right. Mine did too.
We like international soccer. We watch the World Cup.
Sure.
Argentina is the defending world champions. Thank you. Gracias a Dios, Lionel Messi. And you hate fucking soccer.
I don't hate soccer. Soccer is also pretty prevalent in my household. My daughters and my son play soccer. My wife loves coach soccer. Recently, the Women's World Cup was playing nonstop in my house.
He's forced. He is forced to watch
I
soccer.
don't particularly care for it.
I will
and I mean, I understand it's the ugly American stuff. I get it, but it's fun to have fun making fun.
And we have had these conversations. Me trying to educate him. I mean, about we even have it on our short list of episode ideas for season 5. Eddie tries to get Terry to love soccer, and then the last thing, is the Weird Al Yankovic,
Yes.
which is.
Yes.
I'll let you
It's
describe it.
Well, this is another thing that, it was in the writer's room where, like, one day we were in the writer's room and the topic of Weird Al came up and I shared my opinions. And
Which are?
And, well, I'll tell you. But the writers were like, holy shit, this is funny. Let's try to work this in and we'll try to come up with a funny way to put this in. But my thing was always with Weird Al, and I am in the minority of this because I know he's a wonderful guy and everyone loves him. But I find that song parody stuff to be one of the lower forms of comedy and one of the lower forms of entertainment. Like I always think of it as like when an opening or like a beginning improv group or somebody like that wants to do a bit, they'll take a song that exists and change the words, and then that's the funniest thing in the world.
Right.
And I think, God bless him, to his credit, he has made a living out of that, and he's considered the best at it. But I just don't find it to be satisfying from a comic standpoint. I feel like the
dude is living in like a $20 million mansion.
He is. I get it, but I feel like you're just taking somebody else's work, shuffling a few things around, and then releasing their work.
I mean, I don't know how you do. You take someone else's song, you change the words a little bit, and then you make it your own. It's amazing. You're better than Weird Al.
Sort of like if we took a beloved movie like It's a Wonderful Life and put like a spin on it.
I don't think that's true. I mean, I think there's so much more that goes into that, what we do, than going from, like a virgin to like a surgeon, and that's going to be your whole
That's a good song. It's a good song.
What I mean? I think it's
a good song.
I just don't find it to be that, whatever.
It's a good parody.
I went on a little thing in one of the writers' room where I'm like, I don't really appreciate that style of comedy. I don't find it to be demanding or satisfying in any way.
There's no good way.
And I don't particularly care for it. And everyone's like, how can you say that? He's so wonderful and he's so funny and da-da-da. And I don't know the guy. He may be I hear he's the greatest guy in the world. I don't know him. He probably is. I'm just saying that style of comedy does not appeal to me.
There, and that's
all
it.
I'm saying.
That's just your opinion.
And so then the idea was, let's run with that.
By the way, Weird Al Yankovic was one of the first celebrities I met when I came to Hollywood, and he could not have been nicer.
I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. I mean, all things, and then the movie came out, and all this stuff was, it was great. But I just...
What movie?
The Weird Al.
Oh, Weird?
Music. Yeah.
Great movie.
But, this I'm bad, I'm fat. It's just that, it's not... I just don't find it to be that impressive.
Y-O-D, Yoda? Y-O-D-A Yoda?
Yeah. I just don't, yeah.
Another one rides the bus?
Another one rides the bus versus another one bites the dust.
My Bologna?
Yeah. I don't think it's that.
But nobody thought that very well
I know
made
that's
true.
the kitschy meta part of his career. I get it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So one song that we put in here was a spoof song that I had written.
Right.
That I really
Carpool Lane.
Carpool Lane.
Right.
That and by the way, I wish we didn't realize this until after the fact, that because we were spoofing it, the lawyers couldn't flag it. Like we didn't have to we didn't have to pay for the song.
Yeah.
So it's fair use.
Yeah.
But when you come in to praise Granny for the song Carpool Lane, you don't sing the tune because we were worried on the day.
Because we didn't know, yeah. So I just say the lines.
Yeah.
That song Carpool Lane? Oh, I love it. I only want to see you driving in the carpool lane. Carpool lane, carpool lane. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I remember sitting on the can one day.
Yeah.
When it came to me, I was like, I only want to see you driving in the carpool lane. Carpool lane. Carpool lane.
Right.
That's fucking great.
It's good, but I will disagree with you
that's great.
That's not how it came up. It was us driving home from the airport together after a stand-up weekend.
Right.
And we were driving in the carpool lane back from LAX.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's where you started singing.
Okay, fine.
Not
fine.
in the toilet.
Okay, I remember. Thank you very much.
And I was there.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you. Why are you so mad?
I'm not mad at all.
Why are you so mad when I'm so
I'm just kidding. Like, I care where the carpool
joyous.
lane song came
No,
from.
I'm glad I was in the carpool lane.
Yeah, you
But
were.
Have you written any spoof songs or?
I have written songs, several songs.
Yeah, which ones?
Yeah, they're in Club Dread. I read a bunch of songs.
Oh,
on
okay.
that.
I mean, those are good songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're theoretically spoofing Jimmy Buffett. Rest in peace.
Right. We came up with a song that would spoof "Eye of the Tiger," which was "Cry of the Cougar."
Yeah, so we've done it, in the past or whatever.
Although those we do intentionally to be
correct,
an intentional joke. Anyway,
enough of that.
So we took all of our negativity and put it all into...
I don't think it's negativity. I think it's constructive criticism, but go ahead.
Fair enough. But we put them into Eddie and made them constructive criticism or his negative opinions about things.
Right.
And that this was his attitude towards what each person was doing. And, you know, with Granny...
He was a ranter. He was a ranter about everybody.
And he was pissing in everybody's Cheerios. He hits Granny. He tells Mickleberry those onion bagels give him bad breath.
Right.
Mickleberry, you sit around all day eating onion bagels and you wonder why your breath stinks.
Edward Caesar Penisi.
Well, maybe he's doing him a favor.
Right.
By the way.
Right.
He tells Ike, you know, stop thinking.
Yeah.
Like it's
You're
best,
dumb, Ike.
It's best for you to just stop trying to work things out. Right. Like, I'll handle this.
Ike, respectfully, you have said some dumb things in your life, but this one might be the dumbest of them all.
All right. Let's talk to a guest.
I would love to.
Let's talk to Mr. Paul Soder.
Let's do it.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do a proper introduction here. Can we do that?
I did one.
We did?
I said joining us, our friend from Broken Lizard,
Oh, you
Paul
did?
Soder.
Oh, okay.
But I say that with a
Our
smile
comrade
on my
in
face.
arms?
I say that with a smile on my face
Okay.
because, Paul, I want you to know I have turned over a new leaf, and I'm just joyous, Steve Lemme.
We're trying not to bicker.
But isn't that part of what America loves about you guys? The battling Bickerson's routine shtick that you do?
No, but you know what's more important
It's exhausting.
than what America thinks of us is what we think of each other. And I want Kevin to know I love him.
What do you think of... oh, thanks, Lemmy. What do you think of...
dick.
look
What
at
a
this.
dick.
Can you see our little set behind us, Soder?
I love it, and I'm pissed off that I couldn't
We were hoping
be
to...
there. If I was there in person, would I be right next to you? Would I be across from you?
I think you'd be maybe right here, right in the middle of us, right in front of the piñata.
You know what we
The
should have done?
pinata.
He should have come in, and we would put our knees together
Right,
and have him
make a
sit
seat.
on both of our knees.
That'd be pretty good.
Right, and then at some point you guys would pull your knees out, and I go down.
Yeah, when the interview's over.
Not again.
Thanks for having him.
Yeah, disappear from view. No, it's a bummer. It's probably much better to have your guest on set.
We've never had one, so...
Truth be
All your
told,
guests have been Zoom?
All the guests have been Zoom. Yep.
we have,
That's the way of the world these days, Soder.
and we kind of sometimes like it because sometimes guests linger a little bit, and we like to just get them out.
It would be okay if I lingered?
Absolutely.
Of course,
The guy
Paul.
wrote the episode.
Of course,
He
Paul.
wrote the episode.
I
this
know,
guy.
and it's an excellent episode.
Oh, it's so good. What do you think about... Did you get a chance? What do you think about Tony Danza? So good.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's fantastic.
Delightful.
Like everything's fantastic. It's it's everything that I like about an episode. It gets really silly,
Yeah, it's very whimsical.
and it makes a lot of references to Hollywood IP that none of our audience probably knows or recognizes. There's, it's a Wonderful Life. There's Wizard of Oz reference.
Yeah.
Route 66.
Yeah. A little
It's
Christmas
just-
Carol. A little bit of Christmas Carol, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so I love it. It's
Yeah.
that's what I look for. But it's silly, It's
It's a bit of a departure, I think, right? It's a little bit sillier than the normal episode.
it is. But last season that was Rise of the Machines, which I
Which
I
you
wrote.
also
like
wrote.
so.
Yeah.
Love to. I realize, that's my
You're the whimsical guy, I guess, is what it comes down to.
sweet spot, whimsy.
We need a whimsical script. Give it to Soder.
Or absurdist.
But that's the thing, though. There's always room for something in Hollywood. You remember when we were working on the Dukes of Hazzard movie, the script, and the studio felt, we need some more emotional beats.
Right.
And so they hired a guy whose job it was to come in and put emotion into the script. And we used to, and they paid him quite a bit of money. And we used
I
to
can't remember what the guy's name was.
Well, I don't want to say it,
Super
but I
nice
remember
guy.
we used to joke that he had a box of tissues in each room of his house because he was an emotion guy.
Right.
And he was always crying.
Yeah, he was the crying guy.
But so what if Paul Soder becomes the whimsy guy of Hollywood? Like when you need something kind of fucking whimsical, you get Paul Soder. And then
Go up in like a tri-cornered hat and a feather in my quill.
They'd be lucky to have you, Soder.
I'd be happy for the work.
It's funny, I was thinking, I think the dumbest thing about this episode, and it's the thing that tickles me the most, but you really have to be paying attention and you kind of have to be in the know,
Yeah.
is the thing you were talking about, Paul, is the whoosh. Every time the whoosh, in the ADR room, you can hear us going, whoosh.
Where are we going? I love the whoosh.
It's like, it's written in the script as they walk to the wall and whoosh, and then we put it in there.
And it's so delightfully dumb. I don't know
Yeah.
how we keep getting hired for work.
But it's not just you guys. It's a like a sound effect and you guys.
It's a sound effect.
Yeah.
And then
It's a whoosh sound effect, and then the actual dialogue whoosh.
and we measured the volume levels to make sure it was just subtle enough, but you can hear it.
The other nice thing, though, Soder, is on top of writing the thing, you're in it. You know, we bring back the wolf in this episode.
2 bites of the apple on this one.
I know, it's great. And this was funny because I felt like it was like because it was this dream thing that we were allowed to do whatever the fuck we wanted to do with Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So we made him the chief. We had him in a romantic relationship with Vicky.
He's married to Vicky.
He's married to Vicky. He's the father of Lucy. You know,
He's cool.
he's cool.
Cool, but not that cool. I mean, he's still Wolf. I realize it's
He is. It's a fine line.
Yeah, he's still
I
Wolf.
thought on the day I was playing him as a cooler version, and then I looked at it like, no, that's still like I still.
But everyone thinks he's cool. That's the difference. Everyone thinks he's cool.
Right. But that scene in The Office really does. It gets very, very silly.
It's really, really silly. You can take the kid out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the kid.
Well said, my
Thanks,
friend.
man. Thank you, guys.
Cassie in the dual role in that scene is, I think, just delightful.
Lukey,
great.
Lukey is a terrific character.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah. I love that guy, Lukey. What about, what do you think about wearing the white shirt, man? It's a lot of responsibility to wear that white shirt. Did you
It
feel
is.
that?
It
Did
is.
weigh on
And you know what? It shows everything. I feel like it's, like wearing the dark suit. I think it has a, you look, it makes you look more fit.
Yeah,
like
people
that.
look better in dark clothing.
Soder,
Never thought about it.
I discovered this last season when Eddie Penisi became the chief.
Yeah.
The white shirt is not a sexy shirt.
No.
I actually couldn't wait to be done with that portion of my filming.
But I pull it off, though, right, you guys?
You're very sexy, Kev.
What did you think about your romance with Vicky? I mean, I felt a little jealous. You were with my wife in that episode,
And my sister.
and the sister. Yeah,
Right. You had to watch your wife make out with Penisi.
Yep, this season.
Out
Yep.
with both Boykins.
Yep.
Where do we go from here? What what's McConkey's breaking point?
And
to
what's
see her make out with somebody.
probably Ike.
Well, no, Wolf is the breaking point, really.
Well, that's the breaking point for Eddie, though.
She
isn't it?
vomited.
You were married to Wolf Boykins.
She spontaneously
I have to
vomited.
say this. I don't think she vomited in the script. I was watching it. It sort of took me by surprise that she vomited. The prospect of kissing
The
Wolf Boykins.
writer wouldn't put that in the
The
script. would he?
director may have directed her to
Was I the director?
vomit in the sink. You may or may
Well,
not.
it
have.
was set up? I mean, at some point went in the script because it was set up where we had her fake vomit. And,
Do you know what it was?
Yeah.
It was when we did the Valentine's episode, and she and I kissed.
Yeah.
We had her vomiting, but then we improvised her vomiting immediately, but then we were like, oh, that doesn't work. It conflicts with her punching me.
Right.
And so then we were like, we should have her vomit. When Eddie says, and you kissed Wolf Boykins, it'd be funny if she vomited instantly.
Right. Instant vomit.
Yeah.
Did that offend you, Soder?
Fine.
Those are some of those funny things, and I think we've had it a lot with people from the writers' room and stuff like that. Is that you write the episode and then you see the episode and there are things in the episode that weren't in the written part, and some of them are a lot of it's improv or whatever that comes out of the moment or whatever. Is that a jarring thing to you to watch the episode that you write and it's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yes, it is always, even when it's like, oh yeah, well that was super funny. It is always like, well, that's not what I do. But yeah, no, that's why I think really that's probably the thing that caught me off guard about the vomiting was this felt like an episode where nothing deviated from the script, which always makes me feel like that means I did a really good job. Not very improv-y. I mean, maybe because this was so dense, this was so dense with very specific story that maybe it left less room for just the kind of, bullshitting that you would normally do.
Well, I think also because it was so kind of Eddie and Tony heavy, and there probably wasn't a ton of improv in that world. I think in the other shit, like the Who Let the Frogs Out and all that kind of stuff. There was,
I listen to the new stuff too. Lou let the frogs out. Croak, 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 croak.
But
improv-y
even then,
stuff
those
here,
guys, every like line of dialogue out of the mouths of the people that we're observing, are plot points.
Yeah,
are things that are telling us about their lives, and so there wasn't as much.
Couldn't really go off book on that stuff
to improvise.
Yeah,
I think the one area that we improvised was with Ike being psychic. I know that like on the day, a lot we had him start doing a lot of things when things would happen on the set that were scripted. We started having Ike go like, "Oh, I was just about to say that. I knew that was going to happen."
Dick tap.
Oh, my balls!
I knew he was going to do that.
Things like that. Right. He was calling things, but yeah. And then Tony.
That's right. It didn't catch me off guard because I realized I was there acting, so I saw it on the day.
Right. Yeah.
And I think in my mind then, because it's been so long since we wrote that one was, that I forgot that was something that Ike was doing.
Do you think what's the odds on this cat showing us its asshole? Because
he's done it a few times in a few meetings.
Why do we have to?
But I wish you could smell him. He smells fantastic. He smells like
perfume
and parfum.
One of the things I liked about this episode a lot was
come
on.
The
asshole.
I wanted the asshole.
The asshole.
There's the asshole. There's the asshole.
Okay.
Holy shit, that's a good trained cat.
You like a cat, Bart? Huh? You like it?
You like that?
Dude, that cat is a good performer.
Our crack art department went through all the pictures that are in Terry's office, and they replaced my face with Soder's face.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If people go and watch that scene again in the office, those are the Easter eggs of, Soder has been, photoshopped over my face in every single picture in the office.
Well, those are,
which I think is fucking hysterical.
And it's also nice because, like, I think it just never occurs to people. But like on the set in our workplace, then you'll sit down in Terry's office, whether you're in the scene or directing or watching, and you just happen to look over at a photo, and it's like Soder's in it. It's not that you've seen the photo for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
It's Wolf with young Lucy on his shoulders and a six-pack instead of Terry.
Right.
And it's such a delightful.
I love that moment.
I only caught it in that two-shot of Lemmy and Tony Danza. So they're on the desk too.
Yeah. So behind Tony and Lemmy, there are a couple of ones like with My Real Daughters and whatever, and then your head's on those, and then there's the ones behind the desk where you get the little kid on your shoulders and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. There's some good pictures in there.
But I think, to me, you were talking about it. It's Wolf Boykins. I have to say that, like, Wolf is such a delightful character. And you think about, like, really what a pivotal character he is in our TV show. Like, season 3, Wolf is responsible for the cliffhanger.
Yeah. And we haven't even talked to Soder about that. I mean, episode 1, he gets his comeuppance on the set of the Tacoma, Pittsburgh, Seattle, or the fucking show.
Is. Yeah, no, I mean,
Points.
Wolf is the technical consultant, but Wolf is Wolf is a real fly in the ointment, and he has a way of showing up at just the right times. Like, this is the perfect episode for him to be in, for us to call him back from now episode 1 of season 4.
It's a great entrance shot for him. Tilt up.
But there's also something actually more satisfying when Wolf is the most annoying person in the episode. That's when Wolf's a blast, because then you take that guy off the leash.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun thing. He gets to be a cartoon character,
And that was giving me a taste for, what ultimately, led to Quasi and playing the Pope and playing Lucian, of just like, oh my God, it's so fun to be obnoxious.
I tell you what I do know. You're eating for 2 tonight. There's no filling up on stuffed olives and the like.
Oh, don't mind me. I'll just walk the last bit.
I hadn't done that before in Broken Lizard movies, and it's a joy.
I've done that.
I think.
Have you? I can't think of any. I'm trying to think of any role for you.
But I will confirm with you. I'll confirm what you're saying. It is a blast to be that guy, and I think that Quasi's a good example for you. Is you can see how much you're savoring that, how enjoyable that is to be that character.
And it does. I think it changes. At least for me, it changes my relationship to like the camera and being on camera, to where like you want to chew the scenery. You want the cameras there.
Right.
You want the cameras on you. And that's not who I have ever been as an actor. Like, I'm always the guy who like has to remind myself, oh no, be sure, yeah, that's where the camera is. Usually I'm trying to like blend and there's something great about, as an actor, having that relationship where you're like, fantastic, put as many cameras as you've got.
Look at me.
Look at me.
Your Grace, is God all-knowing?
Do I shit in the woods?
I don't know. You tell me.
I do. It's divine.
Oh.
Though I cannot say how pleasant for the poor chap who has to wipe my ass.
Anyway, Soder, thank you. Thank you for all the wonderful work, for all the 4 seasons, and all the wonderful work you did on this episode.
Of course, it's a blast. This stuff is fun, and it's best job in the world.
All right, Soto, everybody, Paul Soder from Broken Lizard, Tacoma FD, and what else? Quasi, that's Broken Lizard.
Super Trooper, you name it, man.
Yeah, that's all. That's all Broken Lizard.
It's all Broken Lizard.
Wherever comedy is sold,
That's right.
You can find me wherever.
Mr. Paul Soder.
Fine comedy.
All right, thanks,
All right,
fellas.
we'll see you
Look forward
soon.
to seeing you tonight.
Yeah, see you tonight.
See you tonight.
Thank you, Paul Soder.
Thanks, Paul.
Always a pleasure to have Mr. Soder join us.
Delightful.
Very busy man. I got something for you.
What do you got for me?
Gag reel. You want to watch a gag reel? That's why I'm putting my headphones on.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because we can listen to it and
I'm
watch it.
holding my headphones. Let's
I
watch
got a gag reel, and let me tell you something. There's a lot of Lemmy in this gag reel. It makes me feel like maybe that's your episode or something like that. I don't know.
Let's watch it.
What the hell is all the flavor for this? Hey, so Hass,
Yeah,
when you're a guy and you sit with your legs open.
like a plie.
Yeah, like look how Kevin's sitting.
See what I'm saying?
That's how you sit.
This is how you sit. You groan.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the old guys do that, not you.
What's up, Lukey?
One more time.
What's up, Lukey? Drinks later?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Whoa. Patent tiny taste air infused molecules.
A Lambo?
Tony's getting irritated now.
Fuck you, Eddie Penisi!
You motherfucker.
Wave to camera when you go out. Thank you.
AC Milan is currently #1 in Calcio A, but Sassuolo and Juventus, Atalanta, Cagliari, Lazio, Sampdoria, but Sassuolo, Juventus, Atalanta, Cagliari, Lazio, Roma, Napoli, and Udinese are all in contention. Oh, and I forgot about Sampdoria.
I'm the dumbest guy I ever met. Everybody understands that, okay? You don't have to jam it down my throat.
Just do another one, but more wide out. Okay. Be a bigger wide out.
Okay. Sometimes you think my eyes can open wider than they actually can.
And cut.
I mean, come on, that's fucking wide-eyed right there.
Oh, fuck! Son of a biatch! Too much?
No, I don't want to upset you, but I think they really are.
I appreciate that.
Right in the dome, boss. Whew. Oh man, I'm seeing stars.
Oh, great being a dude, though, right?
Yeah, I know, it's sick.
And cut.
There you go.
It's a good outtake reel.
It's a good outtake reel. There's a lot of Steve Lemme in that outtake reel.
A lot of everybody.
I mean, there's a lot of Lemme in that outtake. I mean, it's your episode, man.
It is. It is.
But there's we got a couple. There's a couple of dick taps. I kept one of them in there where Marcus really dick tapped you.
He really dick tapped me.
And it's funny because he dick taps you there, and then what happens is everyone else around, it takes a delay, but everyone's like, "Oh my God, you really dick tapped you hard."
Well, because the thing about Marcus is maybe the strongest human being I've ever met in my life. And even when Marcus is trying to pull back, he doesn't realize how strong he is.
Sure.
And so when he dick taps
you don't want a dick tap from Marcus.
No, because even a light dick tap, it's like a sledgehammer.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, we got all your soccer team
Got the
things
soccer
in there. That's good.
Soccer in there, and
We got in there. We got a lot of Hassie being a dude, which I
Hassie's-
think is funny
that's
too.
sick. I loved that. There was something. What was it? Oh yeah, and there was also you saw Hassie laughing and futzing with her prosthetic mustache. That's a thing when you That's why we grow our mustaches for real.
That's right.
And people don't realize that
This is a real mustache.
Is a real mustache. Because what happens is when you have a fake mustache and you smile, the glue pops up. It pops.
And then it makes you feel like you shouldn't smile, and then you're in trouble.
Then you can't laugh, and it sucks.
Right.
So you know.
All right, let's wrap it up. Shall we wrap it up?
I would love to.
Okay, thanks again, everyone, for watching this episode of Talkoma and of Tacoma. Right. The next episode, great Kangaroo Court.
Kangaroo Court.
Right, which is we've always wanted to do courtroom drama, and this is how we did it. This is how we figured out how to do it. So
it's a many
that's going to be
layered
great
episode of television.
And we have a guest in that episode of Talkoma who's going to come join us, Jamie Kaler, otherwise known as Jerry Polanski, Captain Jerry Polanski.
Yeah,
because the local cops are back. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Talkoma FD.